Welcome to Lit Lounge, the podcast where we dive deep into classic literature and uncover the layers beneath the words. My name is Easton Ball.
And I'm Lake. Today we are exploring Mice and Men. As Mr. Hoffman said, a novella that captures hope and the harsh realities of the Great Depression through realities of journey of two migrant workers, George and Sir Lenny.
That is right, Lake. And this story is more than just friendship and tales of friendship. We'll break down the characters and what they did. We'll break down the themes, right, Lake?
Yeah, I think mostly we'll go through the themes and really what the friendship evolved into and showed throughout the story, including the very sad ending of the death of the friendship and the person. All right, here are the characters, boys. We got George Milton, Lenny. Those are the main two people we're going to be talking about. George Milton is kind of the leader of Lenny, and he kind of helps him around because Lenny has some mental disabilities and can be seen vulnerable to the hard world they're living in the Great Depression.
Yep. How I would describe Lenny is he's super strong, but he's mentally childlike. One of his favorite things is he loves rabbits. Lenny is super strong, and because of his strength, when he squishes things, it can really hurt them.
I would say not even that, but just when he touches things, he can be seen as a little bit of a troublemaker. He's just trying to pet some things, make people feel comfortable, and bunnies and mice sometimes. He just squishes them and kills them, which isn't the best thing. I'd also like to talk about Curly's wife. Often seemed as a troublemaker, but has some loneliness, and I'd say in that time, we'd really like to look into the gender and the limitations of being a woman in that time, and I'd say she feels trapped, right, Lil Bala?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I also she has it's an interesting character to read about and stuff because she has so much going on in the story. It's hard to keep up with, honestly.
Okay, going back to Lenny, I'd like to ask Easton what his thoughts are overall on him, because I feel like he's a very controversial character here.
Yeah, if I'm being 100% honest, he's a menace. One of the major themes in the book is the American dream during the Great Depression.
And really, if you were poor during the Great Depression, as many people were, it's hard to find that money and wealth to live a good life. If you started off poor and you're looking to grind it out, you're really just stuck in one of those spots where, as we looked in class at one time, remember that? There were people on computers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was the wrong thing. But yeah, besides that, I think it's really hard. You were either one of the 1% or you're the other 99 who are just grinding it out because you couldn't
farm.
Yeah, you couldn't farm. You couldn't do anything due to the
sandstorm. I would want a way I would explain this book is it's the real human experience that was in the 1930s. Millions of people faced unemployment, so none of them were working, but yeah.
I feel like there's lots of setback, and it's a theme that we still see today almost, but it's hard to find that American dream or the stability of working through that. But what really brought people together in this time was obviously our powerful leaders in the United States of America, but there's a lot of people dealing with hardship, but honestly, hardship brings people together.
Yeah, I mean, that's you heard it from him. That's about the best you could explain it.
One thing I'd like to dive into is the symbolism they used with the rabbits and Lenny. It kind of shows how fragile something can be, but it also shows the dream that one may have.
Yeah, I mean, and the setting itself, the bunkhouse as well as the riverbank, it's that is a symbol of isolation and where they were, and yeah.
Yeah, you said I honestly love that. I feel like when you're using this, there's lots of foreshadowing, but it builds suspense and a lot of the emotional weight that you see throughout the whole entire book. Because this time was really emotional for people.
Yeah.
Vulnerability is when you're really just seen to the elements and they're just really hurrying up on you, and it can cause lots of issues.
Yeah. I mean, well, vulnerability is like George is exposed to Lenny's like
The possibilities of him
yeah.
being attacked or harmed, but he really has to emotionally grab at that and bring it together as a whole. I found myself conflicted with the fact that, you know, the wife can be seen as a villain, and she has depth in all of them.
The
And
book, the author gave her depth in the book, so
yeah, and what really like I think about a lot is the American dream and its like double nature, and it's a sign of hope, but also a cruel illusion. Like Steinbeck does not criticize the dream itself, but he critiques like the conditions you need to find the dream, and it's nearly impossible for George and Lenny to do that.
yeah, I mean, novel becomes a like
No, the novella
novella.
becomes a showing of
Is novel and novella not the same? Oh, Mr. Hoffman uses novella. That's why.
yeah, 'cause he has aura. I'd say the Great Depression is really just shown through the novella by the cost that it shows. Like it takes a lot of time to get there.
Yeah, and the theme also kind of plays into the experience in the book.
Of like the human experience almost
Yeah,
of that time. And I think we've really hit hard on this on what the American dream is to one person, and it's a lot easier to obtain now than the almost hardest time to obtain the American dream. Besides like the Tea Party or something.
Yeah.
But
another way I would explain the book is it's powerful. Like there's a lot of sad stories, but there's also a lot of like I don't know. It climbs into a big thing and then falls off in a sad way. You know what I mean?
yeah, and honestly, in the end, when he gets shot in the back of the head, I don't
Holy
want to say that it was sad, but it really kept me at the edge of the book compared to like the first 25 pages. The first 25 pages were really boring.
We're gonna be honest.
We're gonna be honest, but like he's a good author. We love him, but
It got really interesting after probably the first 3 chapters, I would say.
yeah, it took a while to get into it. But I'd say it was definitely a good book and or novella. Sorry, Mr. Hoffman, and we'll be getting back into it later in life, and I'll probably read it again if I'm being honest.
All right, the boys are gonna check out here
Later,
later.
Hoffanada.